One of the first humanoid robots in Russia collapsed on stage as it was presented in Moscow on Tuesday. The anthropomorphic robot, known as AIDOL, lost balance and fell soon after walking onto the stage to the soundtrack of the film Rocky in front of around 50 journalists. The staff rushed to shield it from journalists and guests with black curtains. The company's CEO, Vladimir Vitukhin, told Russian news outlet RBK that the robot had been tested under various conditions, and the fall could have occurred due to insufficient lighting or a malfunction. Organizers explained that the fall was caused by lighting and calibration issues, according to journalists at the event, the New York Times reported. AIDOL CEO, Vladimir Vitukhin, told the Russian state news agency Tass that the robot was still in its learning phase. Editor-in-chief of Edinorog Media, Dmitry Filonov, wrote on his Substack that the robot was expected to face mobility challenges and was not meant to perform perfectly right away. He described it as a basic model that would undergo further improvements, noting that it was one of the few robots with a human-like face. Developers told him the company had made significant investments in the robot's facial design and technology to better replicate human expressions. "I think they were just unlucky," Filonov commented. According to AIDOL's website, the robot is designed to walk, handle objects, and communicate, with ambitions for it to become part of everyday life in homes and businesses. UK police have said the sentencing of the Chinese Vitukhin has ended one of the longest-running, largest and most complex economic crime investigations that they have ever undertaken. Jimin Qian was jailed for 11 years over a Bitcoin stash worth $6.6 billion after defrauding more than 128,000 people in China in a Ponzi scheme. Speaking to the Associated Press, Will Line, head of economic and cybercrime, London Metropolitan Police Service, said he believed that the conviction sent a clear message that London was no safe harbor for ill-gotten gains and for money launderers. "We will relentlessly pursue you with our national and international partners to identify, seize those assets and bring offenders and perpetrators to justice," he warned. Police said the investigation into Qian, 47, led to officers recovering devices holding 61,000 Bitcoin in the largest cryptocurrency seizure in the UK. Qian, dubbed Vitukhin by British media, was arrested in April 2024 after spending years evading the authorities and living an extravagant lifestyle in Europe, staying in luxury hotels across the continent and buying fine jewelry and watches, prosecutors said. Police said she ran a pyramid scheme that lured more than 128,000 people to invest in her business between 2014 and 2017, including many who invested their life savings and pensions. Authorities said she stored the illegally obtained funds in Bitcoin assets. When she attracted the attention of Chinese authorities, Qian fled to the UK under a fake identity. Once in London, police said she rented a lavish house for over £17,000 per month, and tried but failed to buy multi-million-pound properties in a bid to convert the Bitcoin. Investigators found notes Qian had written documenting her aspirations, including her intention to become the monarch of Liberland, a self-proclaimed country consisting of a strip of land between Croatia and Serbia. They said other notes showed Qian detailing her hopes of meeting a duke and royalty. The businesswoman, who had pleaded guilty to money laundering offenses and transferring and possessing criminal property, was sentenced Tuesday to 11 years and 8 months at Southwark Crown Court. She was sentenced alongside her accomplice Seng Hock Ling, 47, a Malaysian national who was accused of helping Qian transfer and launder the cryptocurrency. Ling was jailed at the same court for 4 years and 11 months after he pleaded guilty to 1 count of transferring criminal property.
Police!
Police!
Where you are?
Okay, take a deep breath. My name's Stacey Woods. Yes, Isabel Grosser from Met Police, okay?
Yes, she was on the run for a number of years and was living quite a lavish lifestyle, was renting some quite expensive properties in a number of different places. So today's sentencing brings to a close one of the longest running, largest and most complex economic crime investigations the Metropolitan Police have ever undertaken. The investigation involved the seizure of assets, including 61,000 Bitcoin, which is currently worth at today's prices around £5 billion, plus over £200 million of other non-cryptocurrency assets. And all relates to criminality predicate offending from China, a fraud or Ponzi scheme, investment scheme that took place from 2014 through to 2017, where over 128,000 victims across all walks of life and from every different province in China lost funds in that original offending. Hopefully this brings some closure for victims in terms of the end of the criminal investigation and the principal architect behind the original Ponzi scheme obviously being sentenced. But I think it also sends a really clear message that London and the UK is no safe harbour for ill-gotten gains and for money launderers, and that we will relentlessly pursue with our national and international partners to identify, seize those assets and bring offenders and perpetrators to justice. So the victims in China of the original Ponzi scheme or investment fraud scheme came from all different walks of life, all different types of backgrounds. Sadly, many of those victims lost everything. They lost their entire life savings. They had encouraged friends and family to also invest in this particular scheme. So yeah, the impact of those just goes, the impact on those individuals and on those victims goes far beyond the financial loss. The harm, I think, will live with them for ages. So yes, she was on the run for a number of years and was living quite a lavish lifestyle, was renting some quite expensive properties in a number of different places in the UK. She had an entourage with her, people that would cook for her and people that would enable her kind of like everyday life, even though she didn't really leave her property where she was that much. But yeah, she lived that grandiose lifestyle. She spent a lot of money on jewellery, she travelled quite extensively throughout Europe, and so yeah, she was absolutely living off the proceeds of the original Ponzi scheme.